Hello dear traders, many of you saw what happened today. One of the bigger prop firms published a statement here, and apparently their assets were frozen, so quite a dramatic event. And I thought maybe it's time that I comment a little bit on the topic of prop firms. So far I haven't really talked about that, but yeah, to make a long story short, my feelings about prop firms were always a little bit mixed. I mean, so maybe let's start with some of the negative aspects. I mean, you have to understand, and I will look at the results of that whole process, which has already started, and I will look what the investigation will show. But obviously, many prop firms, they do not actually provide the clients with real life accounts. Instead, they may just give them demo accounts, and if they make money, they're gonna earn their respective cut. And I think one important thing traders have to realize is that, in a way, many prop firms are a little bit like retail brokers, because they make their money with the fees the traders have to pay for signing up for those accounts. And they know that over 90% of traders lose money. So what I'm saying is, and that's a discussion which applies a lot to brokers, retail brokers, yeah, that they are fully aware that the vast majority of their clients, of their traders, loses money. And the same thing is kind of true for the prop firms. They are aware that the vast majority of their clients loses money. And similar to the broker earning, trading, transaction fees, spreads, commissions, swaps and all that, the prop firms earned the fees the traders paid for having those evaluation phases. So yeah, I'm excited regarding to what will happen here. What will the regulators say regarding these kind of business models? I'm sure that we're going to see some consolidation in that industry, and that's not a bad thing. It's good because in the last 3-4 years we saw more and more prop firms, being advertised, people using them. There was a whole trend to these kind of companies. So that's the one side. Now on the other side, as you can imagine, as a causality trader, I appreciate that whole idea. I mean, you have to understand, when I started out, there were some prop firms, but they were physical. That means you needed to sit there in their physical trading rooms and then work your way up. That existed, that kind of business model. It kind of died off since then, but the whole concept to apply it to an online model is actually a good thing. You can be based wherever you want to, and still you have the possibility to trade a bigger account, so to speak, more capital than you have on your own account. So the whole idea is good. I hope that there will be good companies continuing a similar business models, so that traders around the world will have the possibility to trade more capital. However, please understand that the dynamic here is the very well-known dynamic I've talked about a lot, namely that the vast majority of traders loses money. And the retail brokers know that, and the seeding firms, the prop firms also know that. Okay, they are kind of exploiting that. That's a fact. So you can say now, well, so what? What's the problem? If you're a great trader and you do very well, you're gonna get your payout, and that's true. But the reality is that, first of all, most people, they are not good traders, and secondly, the conditions many prop firms used for their respective evaluation phases were not very reasonable. For example, there's a time limit. You have to make, let's say, 6% within 1 month. That's something I do not appreciate, and I'm sure these things will change, and they will change for the better. I mean, we already saw before some prop firms not having time limits, but to kind of make it a condition that you have to make 6% within a month, otherwise you lose your fee. That is a little bit like a retail broker trying to sell high leverage to small accounts, yeah, knowing that these clients will lose money, and the only party which really makes money in terms of the overall project is the broker, who earns the commission anyways, whether the client loses or wins. Yeah, you understand my train of thought? So I hope that overall the industry will change for the better, but I also hope that some kind of prop firm model will still be there, and this can be used in the future. Even myself, I consider to do something like that, these challenges, because that would really be a nice side project. Yeah, if you want to trade for yourself, yeah, and get funded. So let's see what happens. I'm sure in a few weeks we're gonna know more. I'm sure some prop firms will need to change their model. I will look into the results of this investigation, and I will try to understand what exactly happened. And I'm sure, however, that in the end everything is going to be better. And I would also think that this kind of idea will survive, maybe in another way, but it will be there. Anyways, a last comment, what I did not appreciate regarding all these prop firms. I mean, first of all, they did a lot of aggressive marketing. Some of them have own YouTube channels, they have your own podcasts. And what they do is, and I really do not like that, they kind of want to give people the impression that trading would be easy. And that's very unethical. Okay? So they exploited a selection bias by having the very few people who possibly made some money over some short time period, and then presenting them and interviewing them and kind of giving the impression to people that, oh, you can be that guy, you can make that money, you're gonna make these payouts. They try to sell you the forex market in a very unrealistic way, as if it would be very simple. And as we know better than anyone else, and that has been my work on this channel, forex is still complex. You need to understand this manipulation. You need to understand all these things which I've documented on this channel. Okay? It's not easy in that sense. Trading is a simple concept, but it's not easy. It's still difficult. Trade implementation is still difficult. You know, it's easy to make mistakes. You have to be on top of things. Okay? Yesterday on the German channel, I made a long face-to-face session, and we talked about that stuff also. And this is something I would like to stress. On this channel, I always have to try to show you the reality. My first old channel was called Forex Reality for that reason. Okay, the reality of the actual market manipulation, how that works, and it's time for me to step up the game and to really implement some things so that this gets more popular. I will come to that in another video. But I also showed you how the industry, the different parties, what their interests are, what happens if you follow the money. Yeah, I even exposed certain forex scammers and all that stuff. So, yeah, I hope that things will develop in the following way, that there will be prop firms, but they do not conduct aggressive marketing. They do not try to convince you that forex is easy. Okay, there needs to be some ethical principles, and also that they come with reasonable conditions for all these evaluation phases. And then let's see what the regulator says. Okay, is it a valid model if payouts are respected, or is it very questionable that the live account is actually a demo account in many cases, etc. Let's stay tuned. All the best.